We're back, baby. What's up? Welcome to the Pretty Decent Podcast, the podcast that barely meets expectations. My name is Javier, and I'll be your host. So relax, grab some snacks, and enjoy. All right, now let's get to the episode. What's up, people? Welcome back. It's okay. I'm literally about to hit the quiddy. No, it's Thursday, November 16, 9:57 p.m. And this should be out in 2 hours. I'll probably be out at midnight on Friday. So, yeah, welcome back. Pretty decent, man. We do it different here. We surpass expectations, and I procrastinated once again and once again. I'm recording on a work night when I should be in bed because I've been clocking in early at work. But anyway, welcome back to the most religious podcast out there. My name is Reverend Javi, and welcome. Sit down, settle down, relax. So if you don't know, this is now a Christian podcast because last episode we prayed to the YouTube algorithm, and I'm going to say the YouTube algorithm blessed us with a very good performing episode on YouTube. So thank you once again, always giving thanks to the YouTube algorithm for being on our side. But anyway, this episode, by the title of it, it's going to be a very personal episode for me. So, I'm not expecting it to be the highest performing one. This is more of me just voicing my frustration on a very particular institution. I don't know what the title of it will be. I don't know if the title has the institution on it, but yeah, it won't be a long episode. Because it's the first episode that I actually did research on, and obviously there'll be some jokes here and there. So yeah, we'll start it off with, I found out that whenever I eat too much cheese before going to bed, I have very vivid dreams. And this is actually, it's actually a theory that goes around. So, on Sunday, my girlfriend's friends had a Friendsgiving, and by association, I was invited. And like classic Thanksgiving, there's mac and cheese. And I'm going to say that mac and cheese was definitely hitting, man, because it was so good. But, to say the least, your boy had 2 platefuls of mac and cheese, and it was so good. And I ate the second plate like 10 p.m. probably, and then I went to bed. And I remember having this weird dream. It was borderline scary. Like, I was driving back home on Monday. Well, I drove straight to work from my girlfriend's house. But I was driving back, and I was driving in silence because I was just like scarred by the dream. And I can't remember exactly what the dream was about. I just remember that it was scary and weird and confusing because I hadn't felt that way in a long time. And I'm trying very hard to remember what it was about, but I can't remember. And I just remember that I woke up like at random periods of the night. Like I was like, and it's like, I know why I'm having them, because of like the stuff that I've been like, I don't know why, but I know I talked about it in the previous episode where I was having some sort of fascination for spooky things and like scary things and stuff like that. So probably that's affecting my brain somehow. But I have noticed that whenever I eat cheese or like a meal that contains a lot of cheese, my dreams tend to be very vivid or like very like unsettling. And I was talking to my coworkers about this, and I was telling them because I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I had this weird dream where I got bullied by like 10-year-olds, and then it was like I don't know if it had to do with my trauma from high school and middle school and like just all of that stuff that has been like secluded in the back of my head. And then like I ate cheese the night before because I remember I had a cheeseburger, a very cheesy cheeseburger that night. And I woke up and I was like, this was a weird dream. And then like it was somewhat of a deja vu moment because I remember that I felt like I had that conversation, that I had said the same thing of like, cheese makes me have very vivid dreams. And I don't remember if it was like a conversation that I had with my girlfriend or like with my coworkers or like my friends or whatever. But it just made me curious. And when I was at work on my break, I was like, you know what? I just Googled like, does cheese give you nightmares, right? Because I had a curiosity. And according to Tom's guide, I don't know who Tom is, but it's the first thing that pops up on Google when you search "does cheese give you nightmares?" It said there remains a lack of robust evidence that cheese can cause vivid dreams and nightmares or influence sleep, but there is also no evidence to prove otherwise. Sleep and dreaming in particular are such experiences. Okay, but according to, I saw it on Reddit, okay, and I believe everything that Reddit says. According to someone on the BBC Science Focus, one theory linking cheese to nightmares points to a chemical in cheese called tyramine, which comes from the amino acid tyrosine. Tyramine triggers the release of the neurotransmitter noradrenaline in an area of the brain linked to dream sleep. So anyway, I'd be curious. Oh, here it says that the adrenal gland to release the fight or flight hormone. Because I can confidently say that those dreams have been like very fight or flight dreams. So if you're out there and you've also had vivid cheese dreams, let me know because I'm curious. Because I mentioned that to my coworkers and my friends, and they call me crazy, but I know I'm not crazy because there's a common denominator whenever I have weird dreams, and it's that I ate a lot of cheese the night before, and I had Taco Bell a few hours, like an hour or two ago for dinner. So I'm either my stomach's gonna be very upset, or I'm gonna have a vivid dream tonight. So we'll see. We don't know yet. But yeah, man, it's like I'm exhausted from work, to say the least. Well, yeah, we're gonna take like a swift change. Yeah, man, this past week has just been taking a toll out of me from work, and it doesn't help that the sun sets at 5 p.m. and then it's dark, and then I'm like sleepy. Like somehow I have a sudden surge of energy. So apologies beforehand if my energy is not where it usually is, but I said I was gonna release weekly episodes, and I gotta stick to my word, man. I can't, like, if I don't have my word, then I don't have anything in this world. And funny enough, I guess we're gonna get right into it. Oh, also, I watched the Marvels last weekend. It was all right. My theory was right. They did have the post-credit scene in the trailer. So, that says a lot about Marvel. And then today was reported that Pedro Pascal is reportedly about to sign a contract to be Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four movie. So, perhaps by the time this episode comes out, that's already confirmed. Who knows? It's definitely, and I liked how one of the YouTubers that I watched said it was not in my bingo card to have Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting to read that because everyone and their mamas has been linked to be in the Fantastic Four movie. I know there was some people saying that it should have been John Krasinski just because he had been Mr. Fantastic and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but I don't know. I feel like I honestly don't know what to expect from that movie. I honestly don't know what to expect from Marvel anymore, considering every other movie or project has been a flop. Because, you had. What came out? Oh, was it? What do we have this year? I know. So we had Secret Invasion. That was bad. I didn't even finish it. It was so bad. Guardians of the Galaxy was great. And then you had Loki, which was great. And then you had The Marvels, which was alright. Okay, the Marvels was a fun time. It was a fun movie. I kind of wish they would have in spoilers. You're not really missing anything. I would kind of wish they would have explored more on the whole thing of Carol destroying the AI that ruled over the Kree, because that was just so interesting, and they just like glanced over it, and I'm like, are you kidding? Like that's like the most like, I kind of wanted to see all of that stuff that happened like right after Captain Marvel, the first movie, but they just glance over it, and then they give us like this mediocre bad guy, well, villain, and then I will say Miss Marvel carries that whole movie. Monica Rambeau was like, it was alright. I mean, I actually enjoyed the character of Captain Marvel in the Marvels. It was fun. The dynamic that she had with Miss Marvel was kind of fun. The jokes were typical Marvel jokes. Some of them, they leave you like, they have that like no, nothing comes like a few seconds of silence to give the audience time to laugh. The cats were pretty funny. The Flurkins with Goose being pregnant, and then just like that's how they move all of the people from the Saber Station. But yeah, I mean the movie, like it's frustrating that every Marvel movie is like a setup to the next movie, but no, it only pays off in the Avengers movie. So I hope that changes with like all of the stuff that Kevin Feige has been doing lately, like pretty much saying reshoot the entire Daredevil series, and like actually focus on the quality of the projects, not just the quantity. And because like if they take their time to explore the story and like have good character development, you can have something like Loki season 2 was could have been better. There was room for improvement, but it was such a good season, and it like wraps up the 14 years of Loki perfectly. And it just, that's the type of stuff that makes me excited for what's to come, but it's not leaving me like, oh my god, I can't wait for the next Avengers movie. I'm just like, they left him in a very good place, and that's a very good setup for what's to come. But not every character has to be like, oh, this is a setup for what's to come. I kind of wish, they went back to how it was in like back before Endgame, where it was like individual stories and then you just like sprinkle like, ooh, now it's like awful stories, and then it's like, oh, and here's a cameo from this character, or like, ooh, here's a tease for what's to come and stuff like that. And like, and that's literally like the only reason why people go watch the movie is to like, well, that's the reason why people used to go to the movies. I mean, Captain Marvel was the worst performing movie ever in MCU history, and that says something, because Thor: Love and Thunder made more, and I enjoyed the Marvels a lot more than Thor: Love and Thunder, because that was just such a disappointment of a movie. But that's neither here nor there. And and what else? What else did I do? Well, a few minutes ago I was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows, and honestly, I don't know why I give that movie so much like bad rep, because I was enjoying the movie. I mean, I love everything Ninja Turtles related, but it's better than the first one, and they had so much potential, and I think they knew like this is not gonna do well, so we're just gonna put everything in it. And I mean, I had a fun time. But anyway, let's get to what you're all here for. Oh, also, okay, this is the last thing before I actually talk about what I want to talk. But for some reason, YouTube, like, I've been watching a lot of stuff about Spider-Man and the new video game and all that stuff. And YouTube just recommended me this video called The Christian Problem of the Symbiote Suit. And I'm like, it's kind of funny because of, like the whole gag of the most religious podcast. But that'll be for next episode, because I actually don't want to talk about it. I haven't watched the video, but I figured it's kind of interesting, because it also reminded me of when Curtis Connor just like talked about this streamer that would preach to kids when he was playing Fortnite, and like he was like telling them like, oh, if you don't convert to Christianity, you're going to hell and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay. I don't know. That's actually a very good video from Curtis Connor, so check it out. I actually did enjoy it. Even my girlfriend enjoyed it. Like I've made my girlfriend an avid Curtis Connor enjoyer, and also a Drew Gooden enjoyer, and also Cody Ko, I think. So, I'm doing something good. So I'm gonna take a quick sip. Coke Zero break, not a sponsor. Anyway, okay, so by the title of this episode, we're going to talk about my alma mater, Bradley University, because 10 days ago, I received an email. As an alum, you get emails from Bradley, and saying that in August, they shared a special message about Bradley University's academic assessment process. And they say, we are committed to maintaining Bradley University as an institution that is focused on growth, innovation, and excellence. In order to do so, a detailed assessment of our program offerings has been conducted to identify and address areas of improvement. This process was put into motion so the Bradley University can confidently invest in its future, blah, 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 blah. So pretty much, Bradley has done thorough audits and inquiries to help determine the recommendations that aim to build a financially secure future here at Bradley, which is something that I foreshadowed my sophomore year of college. Just because, as a student, you notice trends that Bradley is going through. So the resulting considerations after communicating to the president of the university are the following. So the following programs have been recommended for discontinuation: actuarial science, mathematics, apparel production and merchandising, business law, ceramics, entrepreneurship, family consumer science education, family life science, hospitality, leadership, international studies, manufacturing technology, math education, pre-K-12 administration, leadership, printmaking, professional sales, public health education, religious studies, statistics. And the following programs will no longer offer majors or concentrations, but will remain as service units offering classes as part of the blah, 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 blah. So you have economics, French, mathematics, philosophy, physics. So, firsthand, they say discontinuing these offerings directly impacts about 3.5% of the Bradley student population, and any students enrolled in these programs will be able to finish their degrees in their current major or program at Bradley University. So, 47 currently occupied faculty positions are being eliminated. 21 faculty positions are being eliminated through attrition. Bradley University is committed to helping individuals, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So at first glance, what this made me think was that I kind of saw it coming after Bradley put in this like massive engineering building, and like right at the beginning of the pandemic, they opened this like, I don't know how expensive the building was. It was millions of dollars. And the building was half-assed, to say the least. It wasn't fully finished, but rumors were spreading around that the building had to get opened had to be made available to the students because of legal and tax purposes. Because they had to meet some requirement that, because of like when they said that it was going to be available, blah, 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 and like they were already late on opening it and all that stuff, right? So immediately, like, even like when I started Bradley, I knew, like, no, like, tuition is expensive for Brad. It's expensive. Even as a like in-state student, it's expensive. And like, to put it into perspective, I believe right now tuition is 46 grand without any, by tuition I mean total cost is 46 grand without any scholarships. When I started, I think it was 44 grand, something along those lines, but I had scholarships which lower the cost. But anyway, it's a pretty expensive school. And upon my arrival, my first thing was like, in my head, holy shit, I'm paying a lot of money. Where's my money going to? Like, the facilities are not the best, lackluster at best. The dorms are, and you know, now that I'm no longer a resident advisor or anything like that, the dorms are shit. They're ass. They're terrible. And some of the academic buildings are in terrible conditions. Like, you know, like there could be a lot of improvement to that could be made to the facilities, right? And you know, like as an international student, that pretty much Bradley sells you this idea, and then you come in and then you get like, it's meh at best, which is like, no shit. So many internationals end up transferring after the first 2 years, but yeah, it was just mediocre at best. And then, you know, like as time progressed, I started realizing that Bradley's not the smartest financial institution out there, you know, and like, I get that athletics are big in every institution, but I would understand if, like, I always had this, like, you know, and no, I'm not trying to give a bad reputation to college athletes in general, but I would understand if the school was like, maybe not number one in athletics or something like that, but like had a good nationwide known athletics program for a specific sport or something like that. You don't have to be like top of the nation, but at least you can be known worldwide or nationwide or something like that, right? We're not even in a big conference. We're Mid Valley Conference. Like, when I came in, I didn't even know there were other conferences outside the SEC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, I don't even know the other ones. I know I'm missing a lot. The ACC, you know, like the big ones. And then, like, I remember my freshman year when I found out that they had won the conference. They made it to the March Madness as a 16th seed or a 15th seed, because I know we played against Michigan. That's against Michigan State. And they were one of like the higher seeds that year. So, you know, like, I was like, okay, like they sell this like basketball program, like if we're like top of the nation or something like that, right? And I just like noticed like they were investing so much money into the athletics the athletics programs and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like I would like to see that money invested into the bigger body, like the student body, the people that actually pay for the tuition and stuff like that. But hey, like I'm not the president of the school. I'm not a president for a reason. I mean, I was a president and founding member of the International Students Association because, there wasn't one when I was in school, but that's neither here nor there. So I did a little bit more research, and originally I wasn't going to talk about it, but on Instagram, there was an Instagram page of the Bradley student body or student senate or something like that students were protesting, and faculty was also protesting about the cuts because, they also realized that Bradley is a very expensive institution and you're paying a lot of tuition and you're making these budgetary cuts, right? And I'm aware that sometimes you have to, it's a business, right? Education in America is a business. Like, let's be honest. We all know that. Like, the fact that so many people are in debt because you need a degree to get a job is ridiculous. It's stupid. And like, it's just ridiculous. Like, education should not be that expensive. And if you're going to make it that expensive, then make jobs more accessible, but whatever. So seeing all of the students protesting kind of like made me want to do this episode because I don't know. I know I'm not like this big influencer or something like that, but I feel like as someone that has a platform, and I know that most of my audience is or were Bradley students, I feel like I should communicate or like show my support. And also I'm just very frustrated, and and the fact that I'm frustrated and it's not even affecting a program that I was affiliated with, maybe the manufacturing tech, but I'm manufacturing engineering, so it's really it's similar but not the same. We're not gonna get into the specifics of what's different and all that stuff, but what I'm trying to say is, like, if you have students from other programs that are the ones protesting, that should shed some light as to what the issue is, right? And then, because obviously schools, like I said, education institutions are a business, right? You need money in order to keep the education, the school going, obviously. But if you have a program or a degree that you offer that doesn't really bring that many people in, you gotta cut your losses, right? You're not gonna keep funding something that doesn't have that many people. But at the same time, private schools are also the ones that have very specific degrees and stuff like that, because from a private institution like Bradley, where it's a mid-sized school, you get that. Like, a lot of people that I know that went to Bradley and are at Bradley right now went to Bradley because of that one. Like, you can have that good interaction with your career advisors, your professors, faculty and stuff like that. And like, to this day, I still talk to some of the faculty over there. So, and I feel like if I would have gone to a bigger school or a state school or something like that, I would have never had that chance, because, that's one of the main reasons why I went to Bradley. So just the fact that you're taking away the opportunity of people like pursuing their careers and stuff like that, it's kind of disheartening, because I wish I would have had the opportunity to study something that I'm actually, I am passionate about engineering, but not as passionate as I am about other stuff. But obviously, as an international, you got to go for a degree that's going to pay the bills once you graduate. So, it was just kind of like frustrating. And then it hit me that like a few months ago or something like that, we got like this announcement that Bradley was gonna give out iPads or something like that to like make everyone technologically connected or something like that. Every student was gonna receive an iPad with 5G, whatever, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, okay, like that seems like a good plan. Like, you know, you're giving back to students, but that's not like that's not the reason why you're making all of these cuts, you know? Like, I mean, I know that COVID, I mean, I saw it firsthand. There was a lot less students during and after the pandemic because of COVID. Like, it's obvious not everyone can afford education after a freaking pandemic. But, you know, I started to do some research, and they're doing a $13 million budget shortfall by discontinuing academic programs. Oh, this is a journal, an article from the Peoria Journal Star. It was published on November 14, so, you know, 2 days ago. Recent. So the plan is to upgrade offerings at the university to satisfy the needs and interests of today's students, said BU President Stephen Standiford. You know, they're trying to address what the students are interested today, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is that the programs being considered for elimination are not as popular as they once were, accounting for only about 3.5% of enrollment at the university. And I mentioned those programs earlier. You know, one recent effort to reverse flagging enrollment led to the improvement of digital connectivity for students, because the internet at Bradley was ass when I was there. Providing a 5G connected campus will help the university stand out among other universities and potentially sway prospective students to enroll at BU over a competitor. And that's not going to happen. You really think a student is going to be swayed by having 5G connectivity on campus? No. So in 2024, every student at Bradley will receive an Apple device with unlimited data connected to the 5G network, creates digital equity. There's a significant number of students that when they step off campus, they are no longer digitally connected. And that's a fair claim. That is very true. Not everyone has the privilege of affording a digital device, and especially nowadays where everything is a digital book, an ebook, all that stuff. It makes sense. You know, it's a fair claim. You're launching a master's in data science and analytics, which is, you know, I've read about it and it's very coveted everywhere. They're gonna offer music for games. They have a great game design program, and that is one of the higher programs in Bradley. So, you know, that makes sense. However, if you keep reading, nearly 25% of Bradley University's programs account for more than 75% of student enrollment. Blah, 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 blah. Positions being cut. Okay. And now it says that if you start a degree here at Bradley University, we're committed to help you to do that. It's a really phased process. It'll probably be several years before we completely phase out each of these programs. So we're doing that as a commitment to our students. Now, he said, Standiford defended the fact that no cuts are proposed for the university's athletic department. We run one of the most efficient athletic departments in the history. I think we legitimately have the best athletic director in the country right now. Yeah, right. A well-run athletic department is a major asset because it brings national attention to the university. No. It is in many ways a window to the university, and it's something I'm absolutely committed to continuing to do at Bradley University, he said. Our athletic program is something that people outside of the university see and pay attention to, and it creates a positive image for the university. And see, it's that type of stuff that as a student, as a student that was very active in the student body, it's frustrating because and I'm sure I'm not the only one that felt this way, but it's like you're prioritizing like 1% Maybe it's a little bit more, but like you're prioritizing the 1% over the 99%, you know? Like I get it. Athletics, right? It's a big deal. Athletics is a big deal in every school. Whether you like it or not, athletics are always a big deal. But there are so many more things that should be addressed before you try to improve the athletic department, the athletic programs and all that stuff. The dorms could be a lot better. Buildings could be a lot better. The campus itself could be a lot better. You know, like you can do a lot of big improvements to it rather than just dumping millions of dollars into the athletic department. Like, I get it, you know. Like, no, I don't get it. I generally don't get it because I don't think you have people actually enrolling at Bradley because of the athletic programs unless you're involved in athletics some way, somehow. That's the only reason I can see. Like, you know, I really doubt there's someone out there saying, I want to go to Bradley because I want to watch their basketball games. No. No, like I said, Bradley's not a Duke University. Bradley's not an LSU. Bradley's not a, you know, a freaking Texas A&M or something like that. Like, no, like, yes, you know, basketball is big in the United States, but you're not, like, it's not bringing profit, like actual financial profit to the, and obviously I'm probably wrong, you know, I'm probably wrong. I'm an outsider looking in. I don't work for the school or anything like that. This is just the thoughts of a former student in the school that experienced firsthand where money could have been invested in, right? And it's just like, there's always this like, you know, I don't know. It's very frustrating knowing that, you know, you're impacting the lives of so many people in the school because you decide to make cuts just so that you can keep feeding into the athletic program. And I'm sure, you know, not all of like the cuts is to feed into the athletic program, but if the athletic programs are the only ones that are not getting affected financially, you're not hiding the fact that that's where all the money's going to, because I'm pretty sure that engineering building is not fully finished. Like it still has a lot to work in, you know, like labs could improve, like the chemistry labs could improve, some of the engineering labs could be a lot better. You know, like you got put money into the programs. Okay, if you're gonna make cuts on and get rid of certain degrees and stuff like that, then invest the money back into those 25, what is it? Yeah, 25%, whatever percentage I said of like where most of the Bradley population lies, right? And invest the money back into the programs and, you know, like make people, like invest the money in the larger percentage of the people that are going and actually being an active part of the student body. Because let's be honest, like even athletes themselves say that they get the easiest classes, you know, they get help to pass their classes and stuff like that. I think there were a few athletes that were in engineering and like they actually worked their asses off, but other than that, you have most of the athletes aren't even in like actual hard degrees or programs that, you know, require a lot of effort, like academic effort. Like, yeah, they need to have like the bare minimum to be able to continue participating. But even then, like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, it's just very frustrating and I don't even know why I'm getting so frustrated just reading about it and, you know, looking into all of this, because I'm not even a student anymore. But I know that Bradley played a big role in who I am today, and it wasn't because of the institution, it was because of the people there. Because of the institution, I could care less about it. And this is frustrating because the institution is affecting people that I care about. And I know that if, removing those degrees, you're removing the connections that people have towards the school. And it's just like it, I don't know. Like I've always had that like issue with the especially the athletic programs at Bradley, because for some reason the athletes always thought that they were better than everyone else when, well, Bradley makes them feel like they're better than everyone else, but it's not really like that big of a deal. Like, yeah, you're an athlete. Props to you, because if everyone was an athlete, like, you know, everyone would be playing sports, but not everyone can be an athlete. But you're also not Zion Williamson, like you also, I don't know. It's just like, and this is gonna be my last thought about it. This just shows how flawed and damaged the American educational system is, where you'd rather remove actual academic stuff to feed things that are not related to the academics. Because the athletics department is not going to bring students into the school. And, this is made public. All of these cuts are made public. Like, if you have, newspapers talking about it, it's public. You're tarnishing your own image. Like, because I think, was it my freshman year? I think, like, the first, sorry, my throat is very dry. The first cut that I saw of a program getting rid was the theater program. And that was, I think, my freshman year or the start of my sophomore year. But I feel like that was like a foreshadowing of what was to come. Because, yeah, let's be fair. It's some programs are not as coveted anymore, especially, like theater. Yeah, if you were in art school, that's different. But Bradley was known as a liberal arts school, and now it's like you're getting rid of like all of the liberal arts degrees. And I know, like engineering, yeah, obviously health sciences, stuff like that, STEM. That's always gonna be something that's what brings in the money. But I'd rather see, if I were a student once again, I'd rather see my money invested into the facilities, the dorms, the stuff that, I see firsthand, rather than a stupid athletic department that doesn't even affect me in any way. Because it's not like the athletic department affects the community in Bradley, because they're not even a part of the student body, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. It's so stupid that education is so expensive, and then you have people. I mean, it is a business in the end, and that's the sad thing, that education has become a business where people rather not go to school and just figure out what they do with life, rather than spend your money on an institution that's just gonna, in the end, dump it somewhere else, and then you don't get your money's worth out of your education. Because if I'm being honest, what I paid for in Bradley was, and what I got back was not a positive return. It was not a positive ROI. Because most of the stuff that I learned was from personal experiences from the student body, not the actual. I mean, yeah, of course I learned stuff in classes, but it was mostly networking and stuff like that. Like, people, like, I feel like I paid mostly for a name, and my actual academic prowess or actual knowledge doesn't really play a factor into like the job, like the workforce or anything like that. But anyway, who am I to talk? I'm just an international student that may or may have not made the mistake in investing money in this institution. And honestly, every time Bradley asks for me to donate to the school, I always say no, because you're always going to pull some shit like what you just pulled. So, in other words, I'm supporting the student body, because it's just fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Like, the world is in such a fucked up state that, and it's funny because I always come across this tweet saying, like, there's no reason why I should be getting in debt for a quarter of my life just to be able to barely afford an apartment after college. So, yeah, puts it into perspective. So, yeah, I know this was a different type of episode, but I kind of felt like I just wanted to voice it. It has really made me very frustrated seeing and reading about all of this stuff. But yeah, anyway, we'll cut it right there. I gotta go to bed because I gotta be up early tomorrow, and I gotta edit this. So, oh yeah, now I have a mustache. I don't know how I feel about it. It's definitely a look. You can barely see it because it looks like I have a worm on my top lip. But thank you guys for listening, watching, subscribing, following the podcast. Check out the socials down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Javi out. Peace.